Okay, so I am traveling and haven't had a lot of opportunities to make any videos. I am in my hotel room here in Las Vegas. If you know what that is, right behind me, um, let me know if you can guess where I am. So you'll be really um, good with your uh, geolocation if you knew by looking at what's behind me where I am. Anyway, so well, let's see if I can get that. Oh, there you go. That should be quite obvious now. So, all right. So I wanted to create a good video on a topic about So, okay, so this is what we've been talking. So, I'm here at a conference, and it's interesting. I'm meeting all these really amazing people. Not all of them. I mean, all of them are amazing in different ways, but some of them are amazing in ways it's just amazing. You can just hear yourself talk when they're talking. So it's basically you've got the similar way of thinking, right? The Greek word for that is sophroneo, or like-mindedness, which is kind of interesting. So we were talking about, yesterday I was talking to this gentleman who's much more senior than me, and we were talking about. I'm at a professional conference, so we're talking about like use cases or, well, I'll just kind of use more layman terms. So in order to solve problems, right, that belong to other people, so you're like a problem solver, right, for them, and instead of, and we agree on this very much, and the more I kind of, I'm always learning, and the more I do things, I learn more, and it's quite important to really go down deep into the detail as to, what the problem is, and try to understand, what is it that, somebody really wants. I mean, generally, a problem is a terminology we use in our life to indicate that something is not as you wish it to be. Something is suboptimum. Something isn't right, and you want to set it right. That's what we call. That's what we use the word problem for that. And problem solving is to, okay, how to make it right, how to reconcile it with your anticipation to have it in a state that makes more sense to you, right? So it could be a technological problem, it could be an economic problem, it could be and again, like, because this, the topic of this channel is generally kind of circles around interpersonal problems. I guess it would be really awesome to kind of think about how we can apply that in our life. So um, the bottom line is that when you're talking to somebody, or if you're talking to yourself, um, it's quite important to really, not at a superficial level, but really dig down deep inside as to what is it that you really want, in a situation, or in a circumstance, or if you're wishing to change something in your life, in your business environment, in your operational environment, in your operational setting. How would you do that? And yeah, so that's the thought, right? And then how do you go about it? So in the context that we were discussing it was really basically kind of not trying to solve a problem with a solution that you've already got pre-formulated. Okay, so let me break it down a little bit. You've got a problem in life, you've got a situation that you need to overcome, right? And a lot of people struggle with it. Everybody does, including myself, in different quadrants of life, so to speak. And you make your decisions based on how you are able to kind of um, interpret the situation, interpret the problem, articulate the problem, and then try to go at it in terms of resolving the problem. Now, if you are unable okay, just hear me out a little bit here. If you're unable to clearly articulate what your problem is, what your end state, your goal is, and why, right? So I've covered that in my previous videos about, what is your motivation, what is the why, right? That's quite important, because otherwise what happens is, it's like, I think, the old adage about, like, you put a band-aid, on a fracture. um, that's, you're just kind of putting a band-aid on a problem that's much more deeper, right? And just because you have a band-aid, you stick it on your epidermis, your skin, and it's not going to really resolve anything, right? So the ability to converse, so we were actually agreeing upon the fact that, communication is so important. The ability to communicate with others who are facing a situation that needs a solution, or to yourself, the ability to communicate, converse with yourself, talk to yourself, and really with no filters when it comes down to it. Like, don't be afraid, or to ask why. Like, I want this or that, right? And you ask, like, why do I want that? And unless you don't have your why cleared out, you will not be able to find the right solution, because you'll end up putting, applying a solution to something, just because you have that solution, right? So, in summary of this video, I mean, all I want to say is that don't settle for a solution just because you have it, because of its convenience. Okay, the convenience trap. Uh, I have seen many times where, in personal relationships, I mean, people just kind of settle down with somebody just because it's convenient, right? And nothing wrong with that, go for it. But if it's not for the right reasons, and you just did it because it was convenience, and you didn't even ask, why am I doing this? Oh, just because it's there, right? Why am I eating this? Just because it's there. I mean, I was at this conference, kind of a party day before yesterday, and they had a whole ton of food, right? Whole ton of food, and people were just like, wah, 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 they're just eating it up. I didn't eat it. I packed my own food. I ate my own, broccoli, blueberries, and turkey breast. Yeah, and just in a little portion. I had more, not more than that. I know that my body doesn't really process. It's a waste. And so that's the thing. I mean, you're just applying. You've got a problem, and you're applying a solution that doesn't really resolve anything. That is something to think about. So leave me some questions on this topic, or experiences where you try to apply a solution to a problem just because either you had it, it was convenient, and you said, hey, you know what, I'm just going to do this because this may solve the problem that I'm having. I've got a gap in my life somewhere, and I'm going to fill it up with this. I'm going to fill it up with consuming something, or I'm going to fill it up by doing something, and it may not be wrong what you're doing, but if it's not resolving the problem that you really have, and you're not even able to articulate clearly and really honestly to yourself that what your problem is, then it's you're just going to suffer in the long term, because you're not going to come out of it with changed. You will not come out of it changed, transformed, healed, prepared, right, for the next phase of whatever it is that you want to do, and move on in life in the right direction, right? You'll just kind of circle back in, right to the same spot, and nothing's changed if you've not taken the right actions. You might have gone around the world and come down. I mean, I stay in this hotel all the time. I mean, as far as that, because I like, how it looks on the outside. It's kind of fun, and also it's got a pretty nice view. But I think, I ran down the boulevard yesterday morning. I went as far as I could. So I went across, I crossed Trump, the Trump building. I crossed, Caesars. I mean, I just have to hand it to the Italians. I mean, It is amazing. You watch it, the Venetian, right? All these places, they've built it beautifully. And I was running by all of these, and I was looking at the Piazza di San Marco, in Venice. They've just made a replica, maybe a little shorter. I don't know if it's exact or not. I mean, it looks shorter here because there's a lot of tall buildings, so maybe it's probably an exact replica, but it's beautiful and everything. So they I mean, the Italian community here and everywhere, and people who visit here, they probably like swell up with pride looking at this beauty, that they've replicated out here in the desert, right? So anyway, so I'll just wrap it up with that, and I'd love to, as always, hope something in this quick video talks to you, and dig in, and find the problem before you start solving it. All right. So peace.